All right. So, transposition, docking, and extraction tutorial. We need to compute our docking attitudes to start off with verb 60, then verb 63, and this will deflect the needles the proper way. Verb 16, noun 20, shows our current attitude. And now we need to compute the docking attitude. So this is a very simple calculation. You take your current roll, which is about 0.8. Now we'll just call it 1. And then you subtract 60. So that's negative 59. Now you do 360 minus 59, and that gets you 301. So 301. Now we do pitch plus 180. Pitch plus 180 is going to be 106 plus 180. That's going to be 286. And now we do the offset from 0 of row 3. And that sounds more complicated than it actually is. You simply just do 360 minus 40.52. That gets you 319.48. Now that we've come to a stop, let's recalculate the roll, which was, let's see here, 1.55. 1.5 minus 60. 360 minus 58.55, and that's so 301.4 roughly. And then pitch was our plus 180, so 105.62 plus 180. That's going to be 285.62. Roll is not perfectly stabilized, so we do just have to wait for that. Sorry, I was playing some music while we were waiting for the maneuver to complete. I'm going to call this just 301. I think it's going to keep going down. And now that we're in, we do verb 49, enter. Verb 25, enter. And our calculation was plus 30100, enter, plus 285.62, enter, and then plus 319.48, enter. And now we've loaded the extraction attitude. We also need to verify our docking probe is set to retract. And now we need to activate our RCS for standard configuration, like so. Delta V set, and we'll do minus 100. This is just an arbitrary number that we set up. It has no significance. It just makes it easier to see how you've changed your velocity. So minus 100 is good. Rate needs to be low. Translation on. Normal and direct on. Then go CMC and rate 2. Ensure RCS logic circuit breakers are closed. And for logistics reasons, DVC servo needs to be on. Just one of them, not two. And then DET stop, reset. And we set it to 59, 40. Counting up. Basically following the checklist, RCS command on, PCM bitrate high. Tape recorder is good. Uplink telemetry command, reset then normal. Delta V, go normal. Arm your pyrotechnics. CMC mode auto. And now at 3 hours, 14 minutes, and 40 seconds, we begin our DET count up. So 20 more seconds. You can see in just the span of under an hour, we're already that far away from the Earth. It's very, very impressive. Count up.
Translation.
And now, at 58 seconds, we do plus X and hold, and then SEP. Plus X and hold, SEP. And stop at minus 100.8. You may need to change view after doing that, and you can close the cover. And there you have it. We are separated, and we're going to drift for about 15 seconds, and then thrust back, like so, to minus 100.5. At this point, close your secondary propellant fuel pressure valves. They should already be closed. However, the shock of staging might have opened them, and because we don't have indication, it's something we need to do. Go verb 62, enter. And now proceed. Now we do manual attitude pitch to Excel command, and we're going to pitch up at 1.5 degrees per second.
Rotation. Translation.
So, do a pitch up.
Rotation.
1.5 degrees per second. And then hit proceed on the computer. And now we begin our maneuver to our transposition and docking attitude. Switch pitch to rate command. And we wait for the maneuver to complete. While we are waiting, we can set our pitch and yaw on the high gain antenna. So minus 15, 30, 45, minus 52. It's about right there. And plus 270. And then when we need to, we can just go manual and high gain antenna power on. So go manual, wait for high gain antenna power on, and then we'll get our 2 high gain antenna circuit breakers in. We're doing this just a little bit ahead of time before the completion of the maneuver because we're only one person and we have to be quick. Now that we are in our attitude, flip high gain antenna to power, and we can see high gain antenna is maneuvering to its idle attitude. And now
Translation.
we thrust forward. And we are aligned with the docking target. Now we just stabilize and align. And then we do our docking. So Bmax, attitude 1, rate 2. And we need to close at 0.25 to 0.5 feet per second. Any translation you make should be just tiny bursts until the anti-setters are done making their corrections, like so.
Rotation. Translation.
So we will go SCS now.
Rotation. Translation.
You can see we need to come a little to the left, a little up. Now we do need to make some fine-tune corrections, so
Rotation.
we will give us a little bit of roll there. And this is pretty much a perfect docking attitude. So we're closing now.
Rotation. Translation.
We can come a little forward.
Rotation. Translation. Rotation. Translation.
And we just perform docking. Yeah, that maneuver of having the computer maneuver like that to transposition and docking attitude it's always going to scare me, right? Because it's kind of crazy. You're maneuvering very quickly. The trick is to maneuver quickly, right? So you pitch up, and then you get the auto maneuver going, and then you flip back to rate command after a bit. And the trick is to get the computer maneuvering really quickly. So we are closing perfectly.
Rotation. Translation.
Our attitude is looking real good. Thrust back a little bit. Let's prepare for docking.
Rotation. Translation.
So we can see we are stabilized extremely nicely. Let's check our speed. We do need to thrust back a little bit. We're closing at just a little too fast. So we'll bring us down very soon. Here we go. Bring it down. Just a little slower. Okay, right on the money. Okay, we're not there yet. Almost. We are great on the fuel usage. I will say that has been absolutely spectacular fuel usage. Tremendous fuel usage. Capture. Okay, CMC free will allow vibrations to dampen. Okay, vibrations dampened. Let's bring her in. And we've got hard dock. Talkback's great. Safing the pyrotechnic system now. BCM bitrate low. Post-docking rate is high. Attitude deadband max. Coas power off. Gonna unmount it as well. RCS logic A and B open. TVC servos off. EMS standby off. BMAGs rate 2. Tunnel lights on. And we will begin pressurization of the interior of the lunar module. So emergency cabin pressure select off. Make sure your direct O2 valves fully closed. You're on CM or LMCM delta pressure. And open the equalization valve. When our cabin pressure falls to 4.5, we are going to close the equalization valve and ensure that the hatch is properly sealed so that we are not venting our cabin oxygen out to space. So cabin pressure is 4.5. Let us do a little check here. Close the pressure equalization valve. And now we let the flow of air sort of come to a stop. Once the airflow has come to a stop, we just ensure that this gauge is stable for about 3 minutes. So it should come to rest at about 3.1 and come to a stop. And here we can see the hatch is stable in pressure. So that's good. We can reopen the pressurization valve and bring the cabin pressure down to 4.0. We use the interior of the cabin to pressurize the interior of the lunar module, so we can't let this fall too much. Once we get to 4.0, we come up to here, and we're going to open the repress O2 valve. And we're going to bring this up to about 5 to 5.7. So here we're at 5. And now we can close the repress O2 valve. And we're basically going to cycle between 4 and 5.7 until we're entirely out of repress oxygen. So we bring her back down as low as she'll go. But nothing less than 4. We could see it sits at around 4.5 for quite some time. So that's good enough. We'll open the O2 valve now. Take it up to 5.5. Suit compressor alarm. And we could see if we come over to here, our repress package is almost entirely empty. So we'll repress the entire way. Now that that's empty, O2 flow, yep. That's pretty normal. Now that it's empty, we can close the repress O2. And the cabin pressure should be at above 4 at this point. Good. Now we just wait for the finishing out of the pressurization of the lunar module. Once the pressure is equal, just ensure you can open the hatch like so. And once you can, take emergency cabin pressure back to both and repress package to fill. We're going to fill the repress package from the pressure stored in the surge tank now. LM tunnel vent valve to off. And we can resume our cabin purge of the solid waste stinky stuff. And now we open the hatch. We verify our docking latches. Our 12 docking latches, they look good. And at this point, we would connect the power umbilical if that was an object that we could physically connect. Ensure LM power circuit breaker is in, and transfer lunar module power to CSM. We're going to test that that's working by going to system test for delta. And this should have 0.5 to 3.2 volts. And once that's good, you can reinstall the hatch. Close the equalization valve. And in order to close it, you may need to just do that. There you go. And return the vent valve to LMCM delta pressure readout, and turn off your tunnel lights. So there is transposition and docking.